Don't stand in the way of your miracle. You know, sometimes we can stand in the way of our own miracle. I want to take you into 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 9 through 14. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. Dear God, I get envious when I read this. This man got the address from the king, and he is outside of the house of Elisha, one of the greatest prophets of all times. What an honor and a privilege that must have been, that he's on the outside at the door entrance, knocking on the door of Elisha, the disciple of Elijah. Lord have mercy. What a day this must have been. And Elisha didn't go to the door. He didn't go to greet Naaman, because that was in his orders from the Lord. And Elisha sent a messenger, because Naaman had leprosy. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, go and wash in Jordan 7 times. Go dip 7 times. And your flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. In other words, your leprosy is going to vanish. Now, Naaman's, you see, back in Syria, Naaman's servant girl who was from Israel told him, look, if you go to Israel, the prophet Elisha will get you healed of your leprosy. So he went in faith, but Naaman had it made up in his mind how it was going to happen. Verse 11, here it is, Naaman standing in the way of his miracle. But Naaman was wroth, he was angry, and went away and said, behold, I thought he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper. So no doubt this young girl must have told Naaman, Elisha laid hands on several people and they were healed. So he presumed in his heart that this is how it's going to happen for him. But you can't tell God how to work his miracle. God is God. He said, as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. And sometimes when we have in our mind how God is going to do something, we actually put God in a box. So Naaman thought that was the only way it could happen. And so when Elisha didn't even go to greet him, sent a servant, tell him, go dip in the Jordan 7 times and you'll be healed. He got upset. You see how we can miss God? His miracle was in the instructions. And he got angry, my Lord. Listen to what he said in verse 12. Are not Abana and Pharpar rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. He is on fire, man, because he is thinking in his mind that Elisha was going to lay hands on him for him to be healed. And so that wasn't the way it happened. Elisha sent the servant and tell him, go dip in the Jordan River. Yeah, it's muddy and dirty, but go dip there. That's where the miracle is. And his servants came near and spoke unto him and said, my father, if the prophet had bid thee do some great thing, wouldest thou not have done it? How much rather then when he said to thee, wash and be clean? His servants had more sense than him. His servants realized Naaman's a great guy, but he's missing it on this one. So they had to counsel with him and talk some sense into his head. Then, my God, then Naaman got out of his way, got out of the way of his own miracle and said, you know what? I need to humble myself. I know I'm big and mighty and got a high position. I'm a general in the army, but I need to humble myself and listen to my servants. I think they're right. Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan River. He got out of the way. He got out of the way. Who am I talking to? Get out of the way of your miracle. You got your own plans in your own way that you think God's going to do it, and God didn't do it according to your plan, and now you upset at God. Who in the world do you think you are? When does God have to take orders from you? You're making a mistake. I made the same mistake. Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. He was completely healed of his leprosy. God's trying to give some of you a miracle, but you standing in the way. You got to yield and say, Lord, not my will. Let your will be done. You had in your mind that you wanted this job. It was supposed to work this way, that way. The house, the car, the wife, and it didn't work out the way you thought it should. And now you're angry at God. But the Holy Ghost sent me your way this morning to tell you, don't stand in the way of your miracle. It's time to surrender. It's time to surrender and say, not my will, but yours be done.